FCSN, what is going on? This is for free with my first video on the channel, and I can't wait to get it started. This is going to be a week 1 recap of everything that happened in NFL, and we're going to have the player of the week at the end of the video. Alright, let's get into it. Our first game was Thursday night kickoff. Everybody was excited. Seattle playing Green Bay. Marshawn Lynch had 20 carries, 110 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers had only 189 yards. Eddie Lacy got a concussion in the third quarter. Everybody's favorite player, Sherman, had 0 stats and he was bored the whole game. Super Bowl champs pulled the victory 36-16. The next game we go into is the Atlanta Falcons at the Saints. Matt Ryan had a franchise record 448 yards on OT thriller NFC South game. Matt Bryan kicked the tying 51-yard field goal at the end of regulation. And then he kicked the 52-yard game winner in overtime after a Colson fumble. Drew Brees had 330 yards and Marcus Colson had 110. Next game we go into is the Baltimore game. AJ Green propels Bengals with his late touchdown with 5 minutes to go, which was a 77-yard play. He had 131 yards on the day, and Andy Dalton had 301 yards. Flacco had 62 pass attempts. Yes, 62 pass attempts for 345 yards, but it wasn't enough as Cincy wins by 23-16. The next game we go into is all the way to Houston, Texas. RG3 went 29 for 37 with 267 yards. Alfred Morris had 14 carries for 91 yards. Arian Foster had a workload, 27 carries for 103 yards. Jadeveon Clowney hurt his meniscus. Bad news for Texans fans. He'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. Watt's new contract leads Texans D to shut down the Redskins only 6 points. They win 17-6. The next game we go into is all the way to Chicago. Buffalo Bills. Fred Jackson set up game-winning field goal with 33-yard run. Great start for Bills, trying to end a 14-year playoff drought. Cutler had 349 yards. Forte had 82 rush yards and 87 receiving yards. Buffalo Bills win by 3 in overtime thriller. The next game we go into is Tennessee at Kansas City. Jamal Charles, one of the most electrifying running backs in the league, only got 11 touches. Alex Smith had more rush yards than Jamal Charles. That's a problem. Tennessee quarterback Jake Locker, 266 yards. New offense and a new defense, making new pieces fit. Kendall Wright had a touchdown. Next game we go into is the Miami-New England game. Tom Brady had a disappointing 29 for 56 pass attempts. Edelman had 95 yards, and Noshawn Marino had 24 carries for 134 yards, and Ryan Tannehill scored 2 touchdowns. Miami had 23 unanswered points in the second half, which made them upset New England 33-20. This is New England's first time losing opener since 2003. Now we go into Oakland Jets game. Oakland had no rushing games. Oakland's second round pick, David Carr, had 151 yards. Chris Ivory had 102 yards with a 71-yard touchdown. And Geno Smith out of West Virginia had 221 yards. Now we go into the Jacksonville-Philly game. Jacksonville's undrafted rookie shocked the world with 4 catches for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. They were beating the Eagles 17-0, which shocked the world. The running game was suspect. Gerhardt only had 42 yards. Chad Henne went 24 for 43. Jacksonville got off to a fast start but couldn't hold the lead. Philly scored 34 unanswered points in the second half. Nick Foles had 322 yards. Shady McCoy had 74 yards, and Jeremy Maclin had 97. The next game we go into is the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game. Brian Hoyer got the start over the rookie Johnny Manziel. He had 230 yards. West came in for injured Tate with 100 yards. The story of this game was Le'Veon Bell with 200 total yards. Roethlisberger had 365 yards, which led to a sweet game winner, which makes Roethlisberger 18-1 against the Cleveland Browns. The next game was a dominating game by Minnesota. They played St. Louis. Starting quarterback got hurt. Sean Hill got totally dominated. Patterson shines while Minnesota whips up on St. Louis 34-6. The next game is the game of the week. San Francisco topped Rusty Romo Dallas. Colin Kaepernick had 201 yards. Both of his touchdowns went to Vernon Davis. Anquan Bolden had 99 yards. Murray had a great game. He had 118 yards, but Dallas' offense was sloppy the whole game. Romo does what he do best, throw picks, and Des Bryant was dehydrated. San Francisco wins 28-17. Next game we go into is in Carolina, where backup Anderson throws 2 touchdowns to lead Panthers over the Bucks. He had 230 yards. Cam Newton out, first start since 2010 for Anderson. New coach Lovie Smith hopefully tried to give a spark, but it didn't work out like that. They had 2 late touchdowns. Bugs Martin got hurt, and it just did not look good for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Detroit and New York, Eli Manning did not look good. He had 18 for 33, 160 yards, and threw 2 picks. But Detroit did on the other hand. Stafford led them to a 35-14 win. And Megatron had 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cardwell's first game, they led early and never looked back. Denver Broncos against the Indianapolis Colts in Sunday Night Football. Peyton Manning had 3 touchdowns, Julius Thomas in the first half, but in the second half it's a whole different story. They were 1 for 7 on 3rd downs, was led a furious comeback by Andrew Luck. He had 35 pass completions for 370 yards. They were down 31-10, and Colts scored 14 unanswered points, but was not enough. The Colts lose 24-31. Now we go on last game of the week, Monday Night Football, San Diego, Arizona. The Arizona trailed 17-6 after 3 quarters, but the 4th quarter, whole different story. Rivers had 238 yards and Gayton had 81 yards. Palmer had 309 yards, and his late drive touchdown gives them an 18-17 lead with 2:25 left to play, and they win the game. And our player of the week is Matt Ryan, who sets a franchise record with 448 yards. He put on a show. I hope you had him on your fantasy football team. That's all I got. If you liked it, like, comment, subscribe.